Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about intuition in regard to these uncertain times. And many of us are in a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen day to day. Things are moving and changing and shifting. So I really want to talk to you about 5 ways that you can tap in and ramp up your intuition in these uncertain times. So the first thing is, how quiet are you allowing your mind to become? So for me, my mind is always going 100 miles an hour. So I have to actually consciously do something about that. Because I know that in terms of influence, if I really want to influence and impact the world on a global level, my mind has to become quiet, and I can't have intuition if my mind isn't quiet. So they all work together, actually. So the first thing is get quiet. Perhaps you have a meditation practice. Perhaps you can just sit down and close your eyes and take a deep breath. In fact, I really recommend that you take several deep breaths. Ground yourself and allow your energy to actually just go into the earth. So if you want to, what I always do is I like to have golden light that I visualize. And I visualize it streaming through my body and actually going through the bottoms of my feet, or in this case, my spine, because it's straight, a spine going straight from there, straight into Mother Earth. And so that's what I do as I breathe out. As I breathe in, I'm breathing in gold light from Mother Earth, nurturing me so that there's this energetic channel between myself and the earth. So breathing out that light, breathing in that light. And do that 3 times minimum so that your body feels relaxed. And be aware of the places where you're usually tight. So for me, that could be the jaw, it could be my neck, it could be my shoulders. Even my feet sometimes tend to clench up. So just wherever that is, just allow those body parts to fully relax. And once you're completely relaxed, once you have that stillness, I just want you to be aware of any thoughts that come up that are triggering thoughts, fearful thoughts, your to-do list, any worries that you have about people or about yourself. And instead of fighting those thoughts, because the nature of the mind is such that you'll always have thoughts, just allow them to go down the river of thoughts. So I actually have a visualization of a river outside of me so that I recognize the thoughts are not me, they're outside of me, and allow those thoughts to continue to go down the river. Because as soon as you grab onto a thought and don't allow it to flow down the river, that resistance is directly working against your intuition. Because any sort of resistance that you have is going to actually literally close down your intuition. And you'll start getting thoughts that you may think is intuition when in fact it's connected to your fears. So the more that you can observe thoughts, the more that you'll actually come back to your full intuition. So that's the first thing, stilling your mind. The second thing I want you to do is really be aware of how your fear is impacting your life in general. So how many times in a day do you get triggered by rejection? Or how many times in a day do you get triggered by the need to be right? Or how many times do you judge people and start to get all upset? So the thing here is that personal development, when you start to realize the blame, the shame, the judging, the withdrawing from life, any of those things that we choose to use to be able to support ourselves in times of uncertainty that are not helpful, are actually doing the direct opposite of what we want them to do, which is to support us to make good decisions in life that not only help us, but help other people. So that second thing, being aware of your patterns is very, very important. The third thing is that when you have these fear-based reactions, what do you do with them? Where do you go with them? And for me, one of the very simple things to do is to go deep inside the heart, because the heart is the all-knowing place, and to really recognize, in terms of these fears, where is the original fear coming from? And one of the best ways to do that is to visualize your inner child in your heart. And what is your inner child actually sharing with you in that moment? And just listen, because your inner child is really the energy that wants to express itself and is underneath all of the problems and irritations. So when you talk to your inner child, you can see, oh, I get it. There's that original wound of needing to be seen, needing to be nurtured, or maybe even is just needing rest from all of the, the things that are going on in the world. And so you listen to that child. And when you listen to the child, your intuition is actually going to start coming through much, much more strongly. So this is another thing. A fourth thing is to know, what is it that is your dominant go-to in terms of intuition? So there are four basically different ways that you can access your intuition. There are more, but we'll talk about four today that are major. So one is to see things in your inner eye. Is a way that you can understand divine guidance. And don't forget, this isn't just for yourself. This guidance is for global influence, right? Martin Luther King, Gandhi, all these beautiful people that had such amazing influence on the world, they were guided. And so perhaps it is a vision that you see in your mind's eye. Another way is to feel. What is it that your body is feeling? Your body's very, very in tune with what I call the universal truth. Not your truth of, oh, this person's nice and this person's not. Those are opinions, not truth. But divine truth that's unchanging, universal truth, right? So when you feel that universal truth, you listen to it. You tap into it, and you can ask more questions. Sometimes that universal truth comes through as a message that you hear in your inner ear, right? What kind of messages right now are coming through for you? What type of divine guidance